Everybody be talking about the Wiley Show. Wiley didn't rest. Wiley didn't do this. Wiley didn't do this. Wiley didn't do that. Let's talk about politics. I felt that right then and there. Let's talk about Harris and President Trump. They're going head to head in the election. Kamala Harris is going to be officially the nominee of the Democratic Party. That's going to be announced later on next week, and she's going to be officially the one to be the productive nominee of the Democratic Party. So we want to say congratulations to Kamala Harris on that. You know, just getting it, even though you got it there by doing a coup against the president. Congratulations, happy birthday. Now, I'm up on this live with y'all to show y'all that I do get sleep. I rest every day. We are on our medication. We take our meds every single day. And when I tell you we take our meds every single day, we take it every single day. I'm not going to deal with you people in this chat trying to diagnose me with a high school diploma. You cannot diagnose me if you got a high school diploma. I'm going to say it again. You cannot diagnose me if you got a high school diploma. If you didn't go to college to get a doctor's degree, pass a psych eval and became a psych doctor, you can't diagnose Brother Wiley. You sound stupid. When I get on these YouTube streets, I come and deliver. I come to wake it up. I come to wake it up. I'm not playing in 2024. I have been all in on my YouTube channel, doing videos, building it, and creating great content. When I came out about my experience of having bipolar, I did not think people was going to weaponize that and say, quote, you're crashing out. I did not know people was going to weaponize it. Because maybe I would have never, ever, 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 ever sharing that to the world if I knew people was going to use that moment and to use it against me. I would have kept it a secret. I would have told nobody. But since I told people about the diagnosis, everything they say when they don't agree, he's manic. So you have to annoy that from people. You do. But you're human. You're human. And so while being human, you hear that every day. Good morning. Have a great weekend. Good morning. What, it's Friday already? Every single day. I did not know it was Friday already. It's Friday already. Good morning, a messy bitch. Good morning. How y'all doing? That's why I'm telling you guys, in this election, you guys got to be focused. Okay, go on to sleep, messy bitch. You got to be focused in this election this year. Because they trying to trick us out of our spot. Saying that Trump is going to lose this election. Hey, Karma baby, bunny, hey. Welcome. Come on, get them likes up. They trying to trick Trump out and say Trump is losing, Trump is crashing out, and it's all a lie. It's all a lie. It's all a lie. All a lie. Donald Trump is winning this election. And that's why you cannot be watching CNN, MSNBC, because they're going to lie to you. I got a phone call from Mr. Attorney Carlton Mayers, and he was telling me how they're lying about Trump and pretty much putting a narrative that Trump is losing the election and that he's crashing out and he's going manic and he's rambling. That's a lie. Trump make crystal clear sense. Trump have a crystal clear plan for America. He want to make America great again. He want to make America affordable again. He want to make America to be American drivers to be able to afford insurance again. Trump is very clear on what he does. He have a very clear message from America. He want to make America affordable again. When I was on the campaign trail, or just building up the Wiley Show, I've talked to thousands of drivers, of Uber, Lyft drivers, and they all said their insurance is too high. I went to the grocery store in Dallas, Texas. I was campaigning on the behalf of Trump, and the groceries was high in the grocery store. People were struggling to pay for the groceries. I went to West Clucking. Food prices is high at restaurants because of the high inflation. I've had campaigned on the behalf of Trump. I've been campaigning for Trump ever since he announced that he's running for office. I have been going all outside in the field, talking to voters, and voters have told me on my station head show that they are struggling under the Biden and Harris administration. They have said it. I have even went a step further and campaigned for Trump on last year in Chicago when I went to the Chicago City Hall and I was there talking to voters when they was telling me about the bad mistreatment in City Hall. The reason why we have taken a hit on YouTube financially is because we stood with Donald J. Trump. And what got the Democratic Party so confused is that we are suppressing his content and that man still saying he voting for President Donald J. Trump. Because President Donald J. Trump is a believer of people doing for self, not begging the government for scraps, begging. He believed that you own and operate your own business, that you be your own boss. I pick up that blueprint from the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and President Donald Trump believed in that same blueprint is to do for self. And ever since I said I was going to stand up with Trump, I have been losing financially on YouTube because the power players, they have been suppressing our content. Our subscribers not getting the videos. We're not in the algorithm. They don't want to like. They invested in the troll farm. That didn't work. Now they left the troll farming alone because they was using Armand Wiggins to go against me. The Democratic Party was using Armand Wiggins to go against me, and it had failed because he came out and started crying that he wasn't being paid fairly at Fox. And I'm still telling y'all on November 5th, vote for Donald Trump. If you can hear me, press 1 in the chat box. If you can hear me, press 1 in the chat box. I don't care if you say you stand with Kamala Harris. You standing with a bitch that's a liar. You standing with a bitch that lying to the American people. I'm not going to respect the vice president. She's a very nasty, bitchy woman. Because what she does is she lies to the American public. Press 1 if you can hear me. Press 1. We got Jessica in here. We got Snaps in here. We got Surfing in here. Come on. And I want y'all to like the video. We got 5 likes in here. Y'all going to like the video because I'm going to always stand against Vice President Harris because the bitch is a liar. Because if she had common sense, she would have implemented the 25th Amendment to remove President Biden from office because President Biden is incompetent. He's incompetent. If he could run for president, why the fuck he's trying to run as still do the day-to-day operations in the country? That doesn't make any damn sense. You got to be stuck on motherfucking stupid to believe that the president get to still do the day-to-day operations, but he's not well enough to run for president? That don't make fucking sense. Make that make fucking sense. He's not well to run for fucking president, but he's well enough to run the day-to-day operation of the country? Girl, bye. You can tell that lie to somebody else. I'm not believing that bullshit. Kamala Harris is a damn liar. She sit around and she pander to Democrats, and y'all fall for it because she got Beyonce, she got this, and all them Zoom call me this all propaganda to boost Kamala Harris up. If Kamala Harris really had a plan for America, why is she avoiding interviews with journalists? Why is she ignoring the Wiley Show? If she really loved journalists, why is she ignoring the Wiley Show? Why Wiley couldn't get a contract from the DNC so we get hotel room paid? The neighborhood talk, they're paying the neighborhood talk thousands of dollars to go to the Democratic Party, but won't give Wiley a dime. And I've been voting for Democrats all the many years. Y'all should pay Wiley a dime so I can go and interview them Democrats, those people that was getting their black jobs stolen by migrants. Yes, she wants to be black now. Yeah, now Kamala Harris want to be black now. So you was Indian your whole fucking life, and now election, now you want to be so pro-black. Now you an AKA, you didn't give a flying fuck about the AKAs. You raggedy whore. I said what I said. So I'm always gonna stand up for truth. I'm gonna stand up for truth. President Donald Trump need to win on November 5th. And if you mad, be mad at your damn self. President Donald Trump have a policy, no tax on tips. No tax on tips. President Trump did that. No tax on tips. No tax on tips. No tax on tips. And Kamala Harris, the bitch stole Trump idea, and now she's saying, I believe in no tax on tips. Bitch, you stole that from President Donald Trump. They said that during the Republican National Convention, no tax on tips. Kamala said and didn't say a word about that. Now, a couple of days ago, she believed in no tax on tips. You stealing Donald Trump ideas, you raggedy whore. You fucked your way to the top and you settled for Doug. Say amen or say ouch. Say amen or say ouch. Press 1 if you can hear me in the chat. Type in the chat box, I will vote for Donald Trump. You got to be strong to type it though. Because you know the coons don't like it. They don't like it. Post in the chat box, I will vote for Trump. They need to raise the minimum wage, lower rent, create a livable wage, jobs, etc. Absolutely. But that ain't gonna happen under Democrats, because Democrats could have been raised the minimum wage years ago. They never did it. And Trump tried to raise the minimum wage, and Democrats fought against it. Come on, like the video. And I'm always gonna stand up for Donald Trump. That's why I was telling people, hit the Cash App, because they've been suppressing my motherfucking content like crazy. $ Marquise Wiley 28. Let me type it in the chat box. I'm voting for Donald Trump on November 5th. I'm a black man, said it. I voted for Trump when he first ran in the primaries. I asked for a Republican ballot. And them motherfucking Democrats have to dig in them boxes to find that Republican ballot. I knew then that Trump is the man for the plan. That's why I'm on a tight budget, because them Democrats don't want my channel to grow. And they ain't sending out the notification. How I have 30-some thousand subscribers and they don't send out the notification. How? How? How only 36 people watch? I got 30-some thousand subscribers. You ain't sending it to none of my people. That's crazy. And Rhea Johnson here is a Kamala Harris supporter, said, oh my God, you are hilariously stupid. That's a Kamala Harris supporter. That's one of Kamala Harris' publicists. Rhea Johnson. She worked over there with Kamala Harris. She be picking the greens and putting the seasoning salt on them greens in that dirty ass tub. President Trump also want to make this country affordable again. President Donald Trump put a policy in place with business owners to cut taxes so they can create more jobs for the ordinary Americans. The Democrats, once they got into the election, they literally erased all of Trump wins. And they're claiming that Trump is a racist, but all of their policy is bringing the migrants to replace black Americans. Kamala Harris even co-signed a policy in California that if you steal something under $950, you will not be charged. That's the policy in the state of California, that if you steal something and if it's under $950, you won't have a criminal charge. It will be a slap on the wrist. And that's why shoplifting is so high. And just like President Trump echoed in his press conference, they have a calculator, the criminals, and they're calculating all the way up to make sure it's not $1 more, $950, because if it's $1 more, you would be charged. And that's why they're doing that. And I've been telling y'all for years, Democrats are not to be trusted. You got to trust the Republican Party. The Republican Party have treated me with so much great respect. The Republican Party made sure I got my medication. The Republican Party makes sure I've gotten treatment when I was in the jail cell. The Republican Party makes sure I've got 3 meals a day. The Republican Party makes sure I get home safe. The Republican Party love me, and I love the Republican Party. I love President Donald Trump. Because President Donald Trump is teaching me how to be an entrepreneur and not begging the government. President Donald Trump wants immunity for police officers because police officers across this country is being criminalized for doing their job. Police officers, the morale of police are down historically under Harris, because Harris have been ordering prosecutors to arrest police officers and charge them with crimes that they did not commit. Under Harris and Biden, the Department of Justice have been prosecuting so many cops unjustly. It was just foul behavior because they are police officers and they believe to keep votes, they want to definitely put all police in prison. And they don't want police. Kamala Harris actually gave money to people to bail out. What do you think about the Trump assassination attempt? I believe that was so disgusting. I believe he was targeted by the Democratic Party. I believe they wanted him not to make it to November 5th. I believe that the Secret Service, they slept on the job on purpose because they was told to do so. And the plot was to take President Trump out. That was the plot, but the plot failed. Because at first they wanted President Donald Trump to go to prison. Once the Supreme Court disagreed with that, they don't want him to go to prison no more. It was right after that, it was the assassination attempt. Now they're going back to, we want him to go to prison. And he ain't going to prison. Because he's the former president of the United States of America, and they're not going to put no old white man in prison that was the former president. If Nixon didn't get no handcuffs, neither would Donald Trump. I'm say it again. If President Nixon did not walked out of that White House with no handcuffs on and went to a prison cell, President Trump is not going to prison. So stop believing that hype on the internet. Stop believing it, because you look sad believing that. Because if President Trump, if he didn't go to, if he go to prison, that would be an embarrassment to the country. And America would be the laughing stock. They already laughing at America, but they really laugh at America. So they're not going to allow the former president to go to prison. You guys. Well, safe to say, probably love to join. They said, yeah, I heard Trump delayed the trial until election night. No, the trial, they tried to do it after, some of his cases are after election because it's election interference when you're trying to put him in prison. And due to the fact he's running for office, you can't be trying to say, hey, I want him to go to prison. That's a clear election interference. Is this a political show, cousin? Yes, it's political commentary. And that's why we need y'all to support our Cash App. Because we only made $900 on YouTube last month. That's all the money I have. And that come on the 21st. Babe, we used to make at least about $1,300, $1,400. We never made a lot of money on YouTube because we've been taking a shift of change for years about supporting Trump and the Republicans, but they've been really suppressing our videos now. They've been really supporting our videos and suppressing it, but I'm still going to support Trump. As long as I got enough to pay for my room, as long as I got enough to pay for my food, $5 packages of chicken drumsticks because I can't afford chicken wings because chicken wings is expensive. Damn, bro, hopefully you get the money you need, bro. Oh, believe it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to go on the strip, do my content. If I have to put a bucket out there and they drop dollars in there, I'm going to do what I have to do to survive. Because I'm a survivor. And I ain't going to give up. I ain't going to stop because I'm a survivor. I'm being serious. I hear you. What about the January 6th attack? There was no January 6th attack. Those voters were, they were upset. It was no attack. That was all a plan by the Democratic Party to make Trump look bad. And Trump did not tell nobody to go to the Capitol to do no crime. The Capitol Police was allowing the criminals to go do the crime. They was actually opening up the door so people can go inside the Capitol. There's multiple videos where people at the Capitol Police was opening up the door and welcoming them in to do that. It is what it is. What state I'm in America? The state of Nevada. I love Nevada. Every place I live is a Republican place. But I was born in the state of Illinois. I was born in the state of Illinois. So, yeah. Do you believe the FBI was being January 6th? Oh, yes, I believe so. Absolutely. I believe that. I believe the FBI was a part of that plot to embarrass Trump. I believe it was a well-orchestrated plan to embarrass the president of the United States. And all he wanted Mike Pence to do was to do his job. And Mike Pence is a rhino. He's a Republican name only. How long you been a Trump supporter? For years. I mean, ever since he announced that he was running for president, he came down the escalator, and when he spoke to Black America, he said, your schools are no good. You lose a job. What the hell do you have to lose? Ever since he said that, I've been a Trump supporter. I've been stumping for Trump. Ever since then, though, I've been stumping for Trump. No, I wasn't adopted. I don't know if we related. I don't know if you trolling or not. So, President Donald Trump, his idea for America is going to make this country great. Again, economically, President Donald Trump policy is very well-rounded and is for ordinary, regular Americans. They're going to benefit it from the most because wealthy people is already wealthy. So ordinary, regular Americans are going to benefit it more under a Donald Trump administration. This is why the elite of the Democratic Party is fighting so hard against Trump because they know Trump is going to help the average American. He cares about the average American. When I was going through in my mental health in Chicago, and I went to St. Bernard Hospital, they pushed me back to the street. When Jonathan L. Flakes at the time, a friend of mine's, he gave me a bus ticket to live with him in Dallas, Texas. I went from a blue state to a red state via the Greyhound bus. When I got to Texas, I've noticed a shift that Republicans were thriving. Black folks were thriving and Texas were thriving. And if you work hard and know how to maneuver and work strategically, you can make money. And I noticed that it was very, very diverse. White neighbors, black neighbors. I've never lived around white people in Chicago because Chicago is very segregated. It's one of the most segregated cities in the world. So when I saw those white people, I was like, wow, it's amazing. Great white people. When a situation happened, when I had a mental breakdown at a public library in Texas, I was able to get psych treatment, get help for my mental health. And every bit because I've never had a breakdown like that ever again, especially in a public library. Never had it again. And I've always noticed that Republicans have taken care of me. Free medication. I know in Nevada, we recently had a crisis and they told me to, just keep taking your medication. And if you're hot, go to a cooling place. They gave me a pamphlet of information from mental health resources. And we've been doing it, listening to that. So yesterday, we slept for a good 8 hours. That's why I'm up now. Like we slept really, really good. We're about to go back live in a few. We'll go live and then we take our medicine and then we go to sleep. Because I do want to go on the strip today. So I got to make sure I get up in a good time. But if I don't get up in a good time, then we'll make sure we do it at other time. But I love each and every one of y'all for coming on this platform and supporting President Trump. Because President Trump is definitely a good man and he cares about ordinary, regular Americans. President Trump team is doing an amazing job allowing him in front of the camera to do a press conference because of high food prices. And under Kamala Harris, food prices have gotten higher because she don't care about ordinary Americans. So that's how I understand. And I see so many people in here. I love Donald Trump. Donald Trump is amazing. I'm voting for Trump in November. They're showing love to Donald Trump in this chat from across the country. So we love that. Donald Trump is one of the greatest leaders of our time. Thank you. So I'm just reading these comments in here and they're just showing nothing but love to Trump. And that's amazing. Nothing but love. I think that's amazing. That is amazing. I understand Trump will make America great again. That's what they saying.
Kevin of O'Leary Ventures and Shark Tank investor. Kevin, always good to have you with us. You know, just that right there that Mark finished with in terms of what the FTC can do to tell grocery store companies and food companies how much they can charge for things. The Supreme Court just dealt with the power of agencies and the government and trying to limit that. You're going to get a very different message from President Trump on how to stimulate growth in this country. What do you think the American people want to hear? Which one is going to work?
That's not going to happen. The government's not going to control pricings on protein or groceries or energy. It's been tried before in countries like the Soviet Union, North Korea, Cuba. It doesn't work. Yeah, so obviously that's not going to happen. I think what we saw today, because I watched, both Harris and Biden together, the first inkling of policy. This bashing pharma is always a good strategy. It's been done since the 60s. Always want to bash big pharma. The problem with it is, and why it generally doesn't work, is many Democrats and Republicans work for big pharma. It hires hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people. And so those people vote too, and they're, whether they're pharma reps or they're doctors or whatever. Bashing pharma is good for a soundbite, but it's tough policy. Now, what I was really listening for is to see if she's going to the center somewhere. Because if the strategy is just bash big business, bash energy, bash pharma, bash ag, bash everything, then she's a leftist again. She can't win the election. So my prediction is, and we'll know more next week after the convention, she has to get rid of Biden. I understand the heritage thing and everything, but she's got to distance herself from Bidenomics. That is radioactive waste for voters. So if she doesn't bring some daylight in and go to the center, she'll just lose. And I'm sure she knows that. That's free fodder for Trump. And I'm not trying to diss Biden or be partisan, but that's a losing strategy. What I'm waiting for is policy on everything else. Taxes, we've got to hear about that. We've definitely got to hear about energy. We've got to hear about the border. And you can't just bash everybody. But the other element I'm still a little queasy about, and I think others are that are investors, she just did policy by prompter. She read that from a prompter.
Hey, mouth open.
She took an interview from you and
Love
other reporters. We're going to really go after
I made you a moderator.
like they did in 2020 when she flamed out. Has she learned anything about how to deal with it on a one-on-one basis? That's going to be where the tire hits the road.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we look forward to that, and we hope that there'll be an opportunity to moderate a debate, and to sit down with her, do a town hall, get some of these questions out into the mix. Kevin O'Leary, thank you very much. Always good to see you.
Take care.
You as well.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey.
So, to sum that up, you guys, President Joe Biden policies failed America. Kamala Harris worked with President Biden, and Kamala Harris policies have failed America. Kamala Harris and President Joe Biden was the worst leaders of America throughout our history, the worst leaders ever. And the reason why I say that is because Joe Biden had early signs of dementia since the pandemic. He's now more sickly now. And they tried to cover it up, but on the debate stage, it was hard to cover it up. You saw how old Joe Biden was. And Kamala Harris is avoiding to do news interviews with journalists like myself because we're going to ask Kamala Harris the real questions that real, ordinary, regular Americans want to know. Because real, ordinary Americans want to know, what are you going to do to bring down them high food prices? What are you going to do to bring down them high gas prices? Will you increase the minimum wage? Why is it that we paying all these taxes and we're not getting nothing from our tax dollars? People in New York is being invaded by rats, invaded by migrants, invaded by filth. And the leadership in New York is pocketing the money. All them New Yorkers that's paying their taxes, they're not getting nothing back in their tax because the trains are smelling like piss and doo-doo. And it's oozing with filth. We go to New Jersey, same thing. Chicago, the same thing. You're paying a lot in taxes, but none but filth. An ordinary American is living paycheck to paycheck. That's an ordinary American. They're struggling in the middle class. When you have to work 2 jobs, 3 jobs, 4 jobs just to make ends meet, you are an ordinary American. Say man or say ouch. So you can't get mad at nobody but yourself. Say amen or say ouch. You can't get mad but at yourself. Kamala Harris have failed America. And you can take that to the bank. She failed America.
She co-sponsored legislation to abolish very popular private health insurance, which 150 Americans rely on, dumping everyone onto inferior socialist government-run healthcare systems with rationing and deadly wait times while massively raising your taxes. She wants to take away your private healthcare. There are many people in this country who spend a lot of money on private healthcare. It's the best health care in the world, by the way. But they want to do it. They worked hard to make money, and they want to do it. Under her, you're not going to have private health care plans anymore. And you could be a wealthy person or a middle-income person, and you want to spend on a really good plan, better than a government plan could be, far better. And you're not going to be allowed. You're all going to be thrown into a communist system. It's a communist system. You're going to be thrown into a system where everybody gets health care. You wait for your doctor like 10 months, 12 months, 11 months. You're going to see some of these plans, how they work in other countries. It's disgraceful. So private health care is gone. She wants it out.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page.
She co-sponsored legislation to abolish
Fox News contributor and author of the new book, Progressively Worse, Joe Concha joins me now. Joe, you're the best person I know to talk about the media. To me, this is a test of the media. Are they going to stand up and demand that? Or are they actually just really what we think they are, which is a part of the Democrat machine, and they're going to help get Kamala through without any substantive question?
Rachel, we're at day 25 since Kamala Harris essentially became the Democratic nominee. They should have stood up at least 2 weeks ago saying, where is the press conference? Where is the one-on-one interview? Here's what we know. Kamala Harris said that she's going to schedule an interview by the end of the month, meaning that we're not going to hear from her until after Labor Day, until after early voting starts in places like Pennsylvania. This is the hide and seek campaign, the teleprompter candidacy of a chameleon who is trying to portray herself as something that she is not, under the premise of joy, by the way. Is it joyful, by the way, that food prices are up anywhere from 30 to 50%, gas prices up 50%, crime driving people out of major American cities like San Francisco, Chicago, New York? Pick your city. They're going to places like Florida, Tennessee, and Texas. Here, meanwhile, we also have illegal immigration, 12 million people coming into this country, including hundreds on the terror watch list. So you go down the line in terms of multiple wars, in terms of the education system, 30-year low in terms of test scores. And here we have, as Stephen A. Smith said, a pep rally going on from a candidate who will not take questions because she can't take questions because she cannot speak extemporaneously like we are right now.
Yes. Well, I'm just going to have to be a little bit fair to Kamala. She actually did do a sit-down interview today.
Really?
But it was with Tim Walz.
Oh.
Take a look.
I called you, Tim.
Yes,
You didn't answer, Tim.
I know.
What happened?
The most important call of my life. It popped up, and we didn't recognize the caller ID. It went to voicemail.
Hi, this is Jim. I'm not able to answer.
There you go.
Thank you.
Hey, Tim, it's Kamala. I really want to talk to you.
It is an amazing privilege for me. Also, I'm excited. I just want to be part of the excitement that you're generating.
Well, we're doing it together, buddy.
You know, Joe, people's beef with her is that she's fake. She's phony. I mean,
Yeah.
this little segment didn't help in that regard.
If I cringed any harder,
I know.
I'd be a fossil. Okay, that was so hard to watch. I just threw up in my mouth a little bit because to your point, authenticity means everything.
It does, it
Mitt
does.
Romney lost in 2012 because he wasn't authentic. Hillary Clinton lost in 2016 because he's not authentic. And obviously now, or she, excuse me. And now we have obviously Donald Trump. Whether you like him or not, the guy is authentic. He is who he is. And he went out there, as you said, and did another press conference today for many, many minutes, and meanwhile spoke with Elon Musk for 2 hours.
Right.
And here she is hiding at this point and doing this stuff where it works on TikTok. It'll get you the MSNBC voter, but in the end, independents in Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Michigan, Georgia, North Carolina, Arizona, Nevada, they're not going to buy this ultimately, and the debates will do everything in terms of shaping this race.
It will. Well, and that's the problem with the debates. I just saw Peter Navarro saying that as long as Kamala doesn't want to answer positions and stand and tell what her position on policies are,
Yeah.
that Donald Trump should just put a big jumbotron up and play her clips and just debate her clips because she won't do it in person. Would that work?
That's perfect, actually,
Okay.
yes.
I
You need
thought
the
it was
Jumbotron, though.
Pretty decent idea. All right, I think he's got one. All right, thank you, Joe.
Click here to subscribe to the Fox
Comrade Kamala, that's the focus of tonight's angle.
We are not going back.
She actually wants us to go back, well, to the 1970s. She's not content with just the inflationary misery of the Carter era. Kamala wants the crippling shortages that went along with it.
It will be my day one priority to fight to bring down prices, to take on the big corporations that engage in illegal price gouging.
Oh, she's tough. She's going to take on those companies. Well, what does that mean?
Now Kamala is reportedly proposing communist price controls. She wants price controls. They actually have the exact opposite impact and effect. But it leads to food shortages, rationing, hunger, dramatically more inflation.
He's 100% right, of course. Kamala will tomorrow propose the first ever federal ban on corporate price gouging in the food and grocery industries, and claiming that there's a big difference between fair pricing in competitive markets and excessive prices unrelated to the cost of doing business. Well, that's spoken like a true Bernie Sanders socialist. Now, add free market economics to the list of topics that Harris apparently just cannot comprehend. Now, why are prices high as compared to, say, 2019? Was there no corporate greed 4 years ago? Well, prices are high because the cost of doing business is high, because trillions that Biden and Harris spent on climate and COVID boondoggles shot up inflation, and because of their Greeniac policies that drove up the cost of oil and gas. So responding with price controls is like dropping kerosene on an open flame. The woman's going to burn down the entire economy with this idea. Yet her advisors think that you're as dim-witted as she apparently is, because she believes that women are going to jump on board the argument that there are vulture capitalists in the grocery business that are just waiting to rob you blind, and that only she can stop them. But let's look at these supposedly obscene profit margins. Kroger's is 1.43% for April. Where was it in April 2020? 1.66%. That's the new profit margin. Yeah, and just for the sake of comparison, Apple's most recently reported profit margin is 26.61%. So, okay, is she going to set the price of iPhones and MacBooks next? I mean, how far can those prices rise? Government's going to step in? Well, maybe not because they're her friends, but I would not be surprised if they tried to slap controls on oil companies next and their pricing. Of course, that's exactly what Venezuela moved to. And after all, then the government there just took over the companies. And state control of everything is their ultimate goal.
The Biden administration has been putting pressure on some of the companies, which frankly is what we're going to hear some of from Vice President Harris, is my understanding, in her economic speech that she plans to give on Friday. Pressure has to be put on some of these corporate entities.
Now, by pressure, she means government intervention in private businesses. And all this will do is to force companies to innovate less, build less, and cut back on supply, which is exactly what we saw during the Carter era when price controls were in place for gasoline.
As has become common in many states in the East, cars have been lining up before dawn. By the time the pumps opened, many had been waiting 2 and 3 hours for gas.
I've been here since 4:30 this morning. It's ridiculous waiting online here. I couldn't get gas Tuesday. The block was about, the line was about 8 blocks long. It was ridiculous. It was unbelievable waiting online. I can't take it anymore.
Even license plates went out on Monday to get gas, odds on Tuesday. I remember that. I was a little kid in the back seat there. And that brings us to the socialist other dream policy, which is rent control, which Biden endorsed in July, and Biden all but told us today would be Kamala's policy as well.
How much does it bother you that Vice President Harris might soon, for political reasons, start to distance herself from your economic?
She's not going to.
Well, rent control isn't just a bad way to address the effects of inflation.
It may be one of the worst, and it's been undeniable for decades. Now, this statement is from left-wing economist Paul Krugman. This is back in 2000. The analysis of rent control is among the best understood issues in all of economics, and among economists anyway, one of the least controversial. In a 1992 poll of the American Economic Association, it found that 93% of its members agreed that a ceiling on rents reduces quality and quantity of housing. There are your shortages. But I'll grant Kamala one thing. She's correct when she says Trump wants to take us back. Because it's taking us back, all right, but it's back to the economic boom of 2019. Now, like I said earlier, we don't need to go back to the Carter era. And her socialist economic policies will make it harder for young people to grow a nest egg and grow a family.
Everything is so expensive nowadays that what do you prioritize? Like, do you prioritize eating over having a home? Do you prioritize having to pay to take a shower somewhere over getting a home?
I think my biggest stress right now is anything financial.
Now, one summer in the 1980s, I lived as a student in the former Soviet Union in Leningrad. I witnessed firsthand the effects of the policies that Kamala is now veering toward. Shortages everywhere. People standing in line for hours. So if you thought the last 3.5 years were bad under Joe, brace yourself. This will be a new nightmare if Comrade Kamala sets foot in the White House.
Comrade Kamala.
Hey, Sean Hannity here.
Little black boy, you beautiful. Little black girl, you enough. When times get hard, always remember to put God first. I'm voting for President Donald Trump on November 5th, and I approve this message. I'll talk to y'all later.